My name's Ashley. I've been at Liberty Place since September 2019. Um, a lot has changed for us since since the quarantine hit with the COVID-19. A lot is different. Uh, we used to we had our normal recovery hours from 8 to 4, and then at 4 o'clock we could sign out and leave the property. We could go to the library, and we could go off site to meetings, and now we can't. It's been almost 7 weeks since any of us have left the property. Um, our days look a whole lot different than what they used to. I have a lot of younger sisters in the program that have never even been off site to a meeting. They don't know what it's like to go to an outside Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. That's crazy for me to think about. They don't know what it's like to have new intakes in the program. A big part of the Alcoholics Anonymous program and a big part of the Liberty Place program is that we give back to the newcomer. That's how we work to stay sober is, we share our experience and we share our strength and we share our hope with the person coming in, and that helps us not forget where we came from. And it's just crazy to think that a lot of my younger sisters in the program have not had that chance to see a newer person come in and to help them. And it's just mind-boggling. I couldn't imagine being where they're at in the program and not having somebody new come in and not being able to be a role model for them. Before I came to Liberty Place, I struggled with isolation during my addiction. I'm a mother to 2 teenagers. I'm a daughter. I'm a big sister. I'm a granddaughter. At the time, I was married. But my addiction took all that away from me. I isolated and I ran from everybody that loved me because I wanted to use. I wanted to use, and the people that I love most would have stopped me from doing that. So I went to great extremes to stay away from them, to keep myself isolated from them, and to keep myself distanced from them, and to keep myself away from them so I could use. That was just, my addiction was screaming at me to avoid them at all costs, all ends, unless I needed something, obviously. Here, the staff and just us as sisters, as a fellowship, we've done an amazing job of not isolating. I know you would think in a house with 75 women, you'd be like, oh my gosh, how could you isolate? But it's really easy, especially when you're quarantined. Most people on the outside looking in, they think you're quarantined to your room or you're quarantined to a house. What does that look like? Well, we live in a house with 75 women. It's really easy to isolate. A lot of people I know from my family, they're like, oh, what do you do? Just lay around in your room and sleep all day? And that's not the case. If it wasn't for the structure that this program gives us, that would be the case. And it would be real easy for us to lay in our room and get in our head and mentally relapse before we ever picked up that first drink again. We have a schedule that we go by every single day. Due to the COVID-19, we've had to adapt and change that schedule just a little bit, but not much. We all get up every morning at the same time. We have our morning meditation. We have our breakfast. We have our chore. We have our classes. We have our lunch together. We have a noon meeting for Alcoholics Anonymous, our Liberty meeting that we call it every day. And then we have another class, presentations. We have at 4 o'clock, that's the end of our recovery hours. And then after 4, it's kind of like free time, for us to hang out. If it's a sunny day, we get the cornhole boards out and we play cornhole in the parking lot. We have cookouts. Staff will arrange for us to bring the grills up and we have cookouts. We listen to music on weekends. Weekends are our downtime. There'll be 15 or 20 of us sisters in the dining room watching movies, Netflix, and, having just anything to get us out of ourselves, to make sure that we aren't doing that isolating. Because as an alcoholic, when we start isolating, an alcoholic alone is in bad company. That's when we get in our head. that's when we start thinking, okay, I can go back out there and I can stay sober, and that's nowhere where anybody needs to be. So we kind of know what to look for, the warning signs. If I see a sister starting to stay in a room a lot, or kind of starting to stay to herself, I'll be like, hey, let's go walk the loop. We have a loop back here in the back parking lot, and somebody figured out 20 times around that loop is a mile. We'll go walk it. There's several of us that have MP3 players and speakers. We'll sit out back at the smoke shack with the speakers going and paint our nails. Just anything to break up the monotony of the day. If you're on the outside looking in, you wouldn't think that we were quarantined. It's there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of love, and we're getting through it the best we can. When this all started, we would be watching the news daily, and the first week or two, it didn't seem, we didn't really know what to expect. We weren't kept in the dark by anything. Staff was very honest, very open with us about, we know as much as you know. They come and said, hey, this is what's happening. They never once tried to say, well, we can't tell you or anything. And then we seen that like some jails were releasing inmates due to the social distancing and the overcrowding. And it just, by week 4 or 5, they had actually released some people from here that were on parole. As an alcoholic, my mind magnifies everything. And that was telling me, hey, there's no new intakes. They're releasing people. This place is about to shut down. That's just the way my mind works. My mind always goes to worst case scenario. So I immediately went to the fear of the unknown and went to the fear of Liberty Place is going to close. I'm not done with the program. They may send me home on intensive outpatient therapy. I'm not ready for that. Yeah, I have somewhere to go. I have a home to go to. I have a family to go home to. But I mentally and spiritually was not ready. And that scared me. That was a real big scare. I had the tools that Alcoholics Anonymous has given me, but if I were to walk out those doors today, I wouldn't make it in sobriety. I'm just not spiritually fit enough. And I know that. Thanks to this program, I know that. I can see that today in myself. Given the chance, given the choice, if they came to me today and said, hey, you can go home free and clear, or you can stay, I know with 100% wholeheartedly that I would stay right here, just because this is where I belong right now. This is where my higher powers got me. This is where I need to stay in order to maintain my sobriety. And this is where I need to stay in order to maintain my recovery. And I couldn't leave my sisters here. I have a family here. The tools that I've been given, like my prayer, my meditation, my connection with my higher power, my support network that I've built up here in Madison County, my sponsor, my connection that I have here with staff, it's amazing. And even once I complete the program, I don't plan on leaving Madison County. This is my home now. I look forward to completing phase 1 and moving on into phase 2, and then transitioning to live here permanently, looking for work here and staying here. This is where I want to stay. So that fear of the unknown of just like, what if Liberty Place closes? What if they tell me I have to get out? All that ran through my mind. And the staff and my older sisters that are in phase 2, they were the best. They're like, no, that's not going to happen. Don't worry. They sat down, they did a lot of work with me on it. We prayed about it. I called my support about it. We long formed it. We went through everything, but they're like, you're fine. So once I calmed down, it was okay. I'm staying connected to my kids, to my dad and my stepmom, my grandparents, just like the rest of the world is. We have iPads here. We have laptops. We're using Zoom. We're using FaceTime. We're using Google Duo. We get to FaceTime. We set up different schedules. Everybody gets to schedule their visits. So, we call them on video chat and we do that. We also, through the week, we can call our support. We can call our sponsors. So we've adapted in here just like the rest of the world has. Even our AA meetings, our alcoholic meetings, we might not be able to go to outside meetings, on-site meetings, but we're Zooming. We have meetings with the rest of the world. I think some of my phase 2 sisters actually went to a meeting in Australia, So we've listened to leads from people in Montana. we're adapting just like the rest of the world is. I'm grateful for what we have, you know, because if it wasn't for the meetings and it wasn't for the FaceTime, that probably wouldn't have kept me still as long as it did. I'm able to video chat my kids and be like, "Hey, how are you guys?" You know, because they're struggling too. They're out of school. They've lost their basketball season. They've lost their softball season. But you know, they can see I'm fine. They're fine. Everybody's adjusting, and we're all, as Andy says, we're all getting through this together.